All right. If you have a cushion handy, that might be helpful or more comfortable for some things, or bricks, whatever your kind of usual props are, will be fine. Okay, so I've just muted you for background noise. Of course, as always, if you need to ask questions, feel free to unmute yourself. So we're going to start seated, just working with a little bit of pranayama, and then we'll come down to the ground afterwards. So just find any comfortable seat, whether that's Sukhasana, cross-legged, or in hero pose, kneeling, wherever you want to be. Hi, Theo, thanks for joining. Right, we're starting seated for pranayama. So just bring the hands to the legs, either to the knees or into the lap, wherever they feel comfortable to be. Wherever you feel settled in the body. You can lean your back onto a prop behind you if that feels more comfortable to sit upright, but try otherwise to use the strength of your spine to keep that tall posture. So just begin to slow down the breath initially. If the nose is clear, then keep the breaths moving through the nostrils. Maybe softly closing your eyes or keeping the gaze low to the floor. Just allowing those breaths to reach into the lower belly. That gentle expanding through the torso as you inhale, and the gentle drawing in on the exhales. And notice that some days, or for some people more than others, as we go through the day, the breaths might start to creep up a little bit more into the chest space, if we've been busy or stressy or carrying around any anxiety. So just slowing the breath down and getting it rooted back into the belly and connecting it with the diaphragm. Can quite quickly just bring that sense of grounding, allowing the nervous system to come back into balance. After a few breaths, you might even feel that there's more space to breathe. You can expand that breath into the back of the lungs, feeling the back of your ribs move. Keeping that height through the posture. So each time you inhale and the torso is expanding, sense it lifting as well. And as you exhale, keep the height of the posture, but allow it to draw in. So when we build that engagement with a deeper core, and that torso, the core of your body is stronger and better structured, the rest of the body is able to soften around it, rebalancing out any tensions in the limbs, the neck, the jaw. Going to build in a few rounds of Nadi Shoulder Nadi, alternate nostril breathing. So bringing your right hand, take your peace fingers, your index finger and center finger, just to rest into the center of the forehead towards the third eye, and use that to keep the head upright. If over a few rounds your arm starts to get tired, you can bring your left palm underneath the elbows to kind of support that as well. So you build a little stacking of support. So use your thumb against the right nostril to close the nostril. So you inhale through the left. Use your ring finger to close the left nostril. So you're holding both, hold the breath. And then open the right nostril to breathe out. Stay as you are, breathe in through the right nostril. Close both, hold the breath. Exhale through the left nostril. Inhale through the left. Close both, hold the breath. Exhale through the right. Inhale right. Close both, hold the breath. Exhale, left. Inhale, left. Close both, hold the breath. Exhale, right. Inhale, right. Close both, hold the breath. Exhale, left. Inhale, left. Close both, hold the breath. Exhale, right. Inhale, right. Close both, hold the breath. Exhale, left. Last round. Inhale, left. Close both, hold the breath. Exhale, right. Inhale, right. Close both, hold the breath. Exhale, left. Allow that right hand just to rest down to the legs, keeping the eyes closed. Take a couple of breaths here, just allow that to settle. Just noticing any shifts of the sensations that it gives you. It's a lovely way to just settle the mind with that concentration of the alternating sides, keeping the rhythm. Also a lovely way to balance the energy. It's believed to connect in with the energy channels that run down the spine, your nadis that cross over one over the other. So it brings a little bit of coordination for that energy flow. Very gently take your time. Bring yourself down onto your back. Keeping the knees bent and your feet to the floor. But just give the knees a little rock side to side or a stretch out first just to get comfortable if you need to. I'm going to start with that constructive rest pose, as I call it. So your feet about as wide as the mat is. Just turn the toes inwards towards each other very slightly so your knees then can drop in to rest one on top of the other. Keep your hands on the torso this evening, just between the hip bones and pubic bone, into that inguinal ligaments. See if you can feel that lower space of the abdominals move with the breath. Again, like we did when you were seated, each time you inhale, really expanding the breath into the space of the torso and the length of the spine. And as you exhale, keep that height or length of the posture, but allow the body to draw inwards towards that center core. With the legs at this angle, your thigh bones, your femurs rotated in the pelvis here, just allow your glutes to feel completely switched off, the lower back to feel loose or relaxed, and the weight of your pelvis, your sacrum at the back of the pelvis, to feel really heavy and anchored into the ground. Notice if you're subconsciously holding anything around your shoulders or your jaw or your forehead. Can you use the exhalations that follow to soften into those spaces? Keep the feet as wide as the mat is. Just separate the knees up apart from each other. Allow both knees to drop over softly towards the right. So you come into a really soft twist. From there, we're going to bring in the quad stretch, the reclined stretch. So your left hand is then going to grab hold of the left ankle. And bring that heel to tuck around towards the left buttock. So you've got that foot as close towards the glute as you can reach it. If this is tricky for the knee, just stay with the soft twist for now. If you're still with me and you have that left heel close to the buttock, then reach the left knee further forwards and down towards the mat. So you feel the opening around that front side of your left thigh. Sometimes a little bit more intensity around the space of the knee or into the hip. To say if it gets too strong or pinchy or stingy around the knee, just release it and hold the twist. If you're still with me, see if you can maybe just have a sense of tucking the tailbone, so you nudge your lower back a little bit closer towards the ground. Without it feeling too active, just slightly switch on that left buttock. So you're squeezing the glutes to press further open through the front of that hip. About 3 or 4 more long breaths here. And see if you can use those breaths, particularly those exhalations, to bring a little bit more ease into the feeling of it. So let the rest of the body around you soften and drop into the ground. On your next exhale, bring the knees back up to the center. Just give that left knee a stretch out if you need to. Reset the feet so they're about as wide as your mat is. Just level out the spine. And then drop both knees softly over towards the left. So just let them flop. Your right hand is going to grab the right ankle to tuck the heel around towards the buttock. Again, if this is pinchy through the knee, you can just hold the twist through the remainder of these breaths. If you're still with me, then reach the right knee forwards and down towards the ground. Slight tucking of the tailbone, so you draw the lower back, that nudge closer towards your mat. Very gently activating the right glutes, the right buttock, so you feel a little bit more space. Press open at the front of that hip. Particularly if you've had days of sitting where your hip flexors have been in some compression, or if you've been working the legs quite heavily with some running or some cycling, so either or, these hip flexors do take a lot of strain. They can get quite tight. But important to give them a little bit of TLC with a deeper stretch occasionally. Stay where you are, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bring the knees through to the center, and again, just stretch that right knee out a little if you need to. Bring the feet about hips distance apart. Just realign your spine so it's nice and straight and long. So we're going to come into a twist, but first of all, I want you to press into the feet. So your hips lift up away from the mat slightly, and then sit your hips back down on the left side of your mat. So you're sitting your bum over to the left, so the knees drop over to the right, and the twist will feel a little bit more aligned. Stacking one knee on top of the other, and the arms either out to the sides of you, or you can use your right hand onto the upper side of the thighs, just to help anchor them down if it helps. Each time you exhale, try to root that left shoulder into the ground. Allow the head to turn towards the left if that feels okay with the neck. So you continue that feeling of the spiral right from the tailbone through into the back of the skull. Again, bringing in a little bit of release energetically through those nadis or energy channels. Using the breaths to reach into that lower belly, so you create a little bit of massage through the diaphragm and the organs and the spine. Last couple of breaths where you are. From here, just bring your head back center if it had rotated. Keep the legs as they are, the right elbow to the floor, and then lengthen your top leg, your left leg, out to the side so your right hand can catch underneath the leg. So your left leg is resting into the right palm. That can be either under the back of the knee or under the calf muscle, or if you're looser through the hamstrings, maybe around the foot. Kick the heel of that foot out to the side and curl the big toe back towards you. To deepen into it, if you want another level in, then your right leg that's still bent resting onto the floor, so you'd shift that around a little bit. So you might find your left hand can grab hold of the right toes. So you're in a little twisty figure of 8 feeling. If that feels a little bit too tangled, then just stay with the first leg. Trying to keep those shoulders to the ground and bringing a sense of ease to it where you can. Last breath. Very slowly, bend that left knee so you come back the way you came. So through the twist, bring both knees up to the center. Press through the feet, so you send your hips to sit down on the right side of the mat and the knees drop over towards the left. So again, as you come into that twist, your spine feels a little bit more aligned. Reach the right arm out to the side of you. Your left hand can then rest onto the upper side of the legs to anchor them down. Just start finding the breath again, moving it through the torso, so you create that massage through the breath into the body. Rooting that right shoulder blade, your scapula, into the ground. Maybe the head is rotated as well. So from here, just bring your head back center if you'd rotated it. Take your left elbow to the ground, so that hand now is going to catch your right leg. So extend the top leg out to the side. Your hand can either hold on under the calf muscle, under the knee, or around the foot, wherever it feels good to grab. Again, if you want to up level into it a little bit more of a tangle, then your underneath leg, your left leg, is going to take the hold of the right hand. So you pull it around behind you into more of a figure of 8. And if it feels too tangly, just leave out that extra hold. Find the breath again if it had stopped in some way. Keeping that top leg flexed, curl the big toe back towards you. And if that then makes your eyebrows wince up a little bit, see if you can relax the face. Take a breath in where you are. And as you exhale, slowly bending that top leg. So you bring both knees back up to the ceiling, realign the pelvis back into the center of the mat, and just give your knees a gentle rock side to side, just loosening off your back any way that feels good. Bring the knees in towards your chest and just hug the arms around the knees. So if you can, the knees almost in the fold line of your elbows, and you can hold on to your own hands or your wrists. So you can kind of let the weight of your arms just keep the knees here towards you and allow your back to drop into the floor. If the knees don't come to the fold of the elbows, just use the hands around the shins as you normally would. It's all fine. You might notice in this sort of upside down child's pose feeling that with the compression of your thighs against the abdomen, it's actually quite good for your digestion. You get this compression through the torso that when you release, then the organs kind of release out a little bit. So you might notice a little bit of gurgling through the belly. Oh, as on cue, my belly does rub over then. From here, we're going to come into happy baby. So just shift the elbows in towards the inside of your knees, the hands grabbing around the shoelace bit of your feet, and then lift the soles of the feet towards the ceiling. So your ankles are stacked above the knees, soles of the feet flat to the ceiling. If we don't quite reach the feet comfortably, then just hold the arms around the back of the knees, the legs stay in happy baby, and just work the position to suit your body. You want to feel quite heavy into it rather than any struggle. We still have the elbows on the inside of the knees, then use your elbows to keep the knees just gently pressing out and the fingers to pull the feet down. So the knees are coming towards the outer shoulders. Using the duration of your exhales to try and draw the tailbone towards the ground. So your spine is lengthening still. That ease for the flow of energy. Going to keep your left leg with you as you have it. Just take your right foot down to the floor and reach your right arm back behind you. So you can keep your right leg bent, so foot to the ground, or you can begin to lengthen it further away if that doesn't get too deep. Just find the space that feels good to kind of stretch out in. Let's take a last couple of breaths here. And then we bring your left foot into your right hand. So kind of pass the foot into that right hand. Grab hold of the heel. Release hold of your left hand from the foot, you're coming into almost an upside down reclined pigeon pose. So use your right hand to bring that heel towards right shoulder. You can use your left hand either just to press the knee away, so the shin is parallel with the body. For those of you that can take it a little bit deeper, thread your left arm under the fold of the knee, under the calf muscle, so you're looking at your left palm. I don't know if you can see that on the screen, if that makes any sense. You might feel it a little bit more comfortable to keep the right knee bent if it is out straight. So think upside down pigeon pose. Your right hand has the foot, the left arm's gone under the fold of the leg, and you're looking at the hand. That's it, Chris, good. For those of you that can go a step deeper, try and get the right arm under the ankle, so you're looking at both palms. So your shin is directly above your chest. Again, it might feel more comfortable to keep that right foot to the floor, the knee bent. It will feel deeper if you lengthen it away. Find the place that gives you that biting point of feeling like a deep, good stretch, but you can still breathe and relax your face. Taking 2 more deep breaths. Very slowly start to unthread your arms. You can just take that left foot to the floor for a moment. Bend both knees, so both feet are to the ground, and just give the knees a gentle rock side to side, just to rebalance the body, just neutralize out a little bit through your back. And then we find it on the other side. So bring both knees in towards your chest. We'll start with the happy baby, sorry. So your elbows to the inside of the knees. Take hold of the shoelace bit of your feet, and then lift the soles of the feet up so they're facing up to the ceiling. Use the elbows to press the knees out, and the fingers to pull the feet down. And this time we keep the right leg exactly as you have it. Just gently let go of the left foot so the left foot comes to the ground. Left arm reaches back behind you. You can keep the left leg bent or begin to lengthen it away. You stay in this one-legged happy baby for a few breaths. Make sure that breath is still reaching through the full space of the body. From here, pass your foot into your left hand. So remember, these next stages, it will feel easier if that outstretched left leg is bent. So you decide if and when that needs to come in a little. Your right hand goes under the calf muscle. So your leg is in the fold of the elbow. So you're looking at your right palm. So in like an upside down pigeon pose. Those of you that can go into the next stage, your left arm goes under the ankle so that you're looking into both palms. Your shin is in line with the shoulders. And maybe that left leg is bent, or maybe the leg is straightened out. One side perhaps will feel different to the other. So see how far this one feels comfortable to go. Or finding that biting point to say comfortable, probably not comfortable, but finding the place where it still feels fairly good in some way. Last couple of breaths. Slowly bending both knees, so you bring the feet back to the floor again, and just find that gentle rocking of the knees, just again to re-neutralize your body a little bit. Bring the feet nice and close together this time on your mat, so let the knees drop out to the side, so the soles of your feet come together. Baddha Konasana. Give the knees a gentle rock side to side, or if you'd rather pad them out with cushions underneath, then feel free to do so. If now we've done those deep hip openings already and your hips feel a little bit like they've had enough for a moment, then rather than the knees open, take the constructive rest that we did at the start of the practice with your feet wide and knees dropping in. Okay, so either or. If we can stay with the work of the opening of the body, then keep the knees out. Reach your hands up towards the ceiling and then over your head behind you. If you can, maybe hold on to the elbows or forearms so you're framing your head with your arms. So you create a bit more space around the ribs, a bit more space around your lungs and the shoulders. Work into that feeling of the breath, finding space and expansion. Last couple of breaths here. On your next exhale, draw the belly to the spine and carefully bring the knees in towards your chest again. You can use the hands to help scoop them in if that feels a little bit more comfortable. Bring the knees nice and close together, pull them in towards your body. Just take a gentle rock side to side and massage your back into the floor. From here, take your time, just roll yourself gently over to one side. I just want you to pause there on your side for a moment. Use the hands to help you press yourself up to seated. And you've been grounded a while, so take your time. Coming into a half straddle, as I promised, Bernard, no full straddle. So keep your left heel tucked in towards the body. The right leg just gently out to the side. Again, it doesn't have to go out very dramatically. It can be more in front of you if that's more comfortable. Bringing your right hand just in line with the hip, but behind that right leg. And the left hand is going to lift up to the ceiling and bring the fingertips to the back of the head, tipping yourself over towards the right. So that left elbow is reaching up towards the ceiling. If you have a brick or a cushion or something you want to place underneath this, underneath forearm to rest into. For some of you, maybe over the few breaths, the forearm will find the ground. It doesn't have to happen on breath one. See what happens over the course of the breaths. The left hand that's supporting your head, if you wrap it around a little bit further, so you're almost holding the head like you would support like a baby's head into that hand, so you really cradle around it. Thinking about space open out around the left side of the rib cage. So can you keep that left sit bone drawing down? Head feeling supported. And the breath opening out into the left side of the rib. So feel the breath expand into that side of the torso. Keep the body where it is. Just release that left hand that's behind your head. And just slowly reach it out towards the left side, so you bring in neck release. So fingertips reaching away towards that left side of the room. Keep the head dropping heavy towards right shoulder. See if you can still keep your spine fairly upright, but just hinging to the side. So just check you haven't kind of slumped backwards into your spine. Just open out those left fingertips a little, so the hand feels really active as you stretch out through the palm for a moment too. Fingertips are reaching away from the body and then down towards the floor. So you encourage the head of that shoulder further away from the left ear. Allow your jaw to relax into it. And as you breathe right up into the upper space of the lungs, can you feel the breath reach into your neck as well? So that you use the exhale to bring a real sense of soothing and a real sense of release to that hold of the neck. Allow your left hand just to rest down onto that bent leg. And without switching on the muscles of your neck, if you can, use your right hand underneath the head to press yourself back up again. So keep the neck nice and relaxed as you come back up. Just placing it back on top of the neck. Just allow the hands to rest to the legs and just acknowledge the feeling and difference one side of the neck to the other. Might feel it flush into one side of the head. And then when you're ready, just switch the legs over so that the right knee is bent and the left leg is straight. Again, you can take it as far out to the side as you wish to. The left hand is in line with the hip, just out to the side of the body. You can place a prop underneath this forearm. The right arm is going to reach up to the ceiling and then place the fingertips to the back of the head as you lean over towards the left. Sitting right elbow reaching high to the ceiling. Sweep those right fingertips maybe further around the head so you're supporting it a little bit more. So the fingers will be somewhere behind the back of your ear. Can you root your right sit bone further to the floor? Can you feel the breath move into the right side of your torso? Allow the body to deepen in over these next few breaths. Maybe your body can reach over a little bit further. Stopping at the point where it feels enough. Sometimes there is no need to go deeper if you're deep enough. Keeping everything nice and heavy here, just release that hand from behind your head so the head will drop down. Bring in the neck release, so your right fingers reach away from your body towards the right. Open out the bones of the hand. Reach the fingertips away from you and then down towards the floor slightly. Allow the jaw to relax. Just check you haven't dropped the weight backwards too much. Keep the spine fairly active. Really full breaths, so you fill up right from the lower belly, right up into the upper lungs and into the neck. Using the exhales to bring a sense of release and a sense of soothing. Place the right hand just down onto your right leg somewhere. Use that to pull yourself up slightly, but then you use the left hand again underneath the head so you don't switch on that muscle that you just stretched out. Use your left hand to press the head back up again. Just allow your spine to be straight, the hands just relax down to the legs for a moment, just find stillness. Just give that right knee a stretch out if you need to. And then we're coming into Baddha Konasana, so like we did when you were lying on your back, bring the soles of the feet together and knees open. So ideally, heels are closer to the groin here. If you want to be sat onto cushions or bricks, this is going to help the hips relax a lot more. So the higher your hips are, the easier this is going to feel. So feel free to pop yourself up on something or pad out under the knees as your other option. Interlace the fingers together and then place the hands underneath the feet. So your feet are kind of resting into the hands. Use that to pull into the feet so your chest lifts up, coming through the arms. As you exhale, hinge forwards. So for the first couple of breaths, try to keep the spine straight. So you feel your tailbone lengthening back behind you and the breastbone reaching forwards. Then on your next exhale, allow the weight of the head to drop in so the spine can round over slightly. So you're looking down towards those big toes. So sometimes if you feel the weight of the feet a bit too uncomfortable in your fingers, then obviously please just adjust how you're holding the feet if it's any uncomfortable feeling. Your elbows can act as pretty handy little anchors for your legs. So if the elbows can stay with the inner thighs, then use the elbows to press gently in towards inner thigh and have a sense of dragging the muscle from the groin towards the knee. So you just create a little bit of traction for those muscle fibers to create space. Again, option if that doesn't feel good for the body, then just allow the elbows to drop out to the over of the shins, so the elbows are in front of you instead. Using your next few breaths, see where you can feel a little bit heavier. Or possibly be around the weight of your head, the release of your jaw, or soften around the shoulders. So there's no sense of pulling yourself in. Last couple of breaths where you are. From here, really slowly roll back up through the spine. Take your time with it. Release the hands from underneath your feet. And like we did with supporting the neck, I want you to use your hands underneath the knees. So you use the strength of the arms to bring the legs back together. So keep the inner thighs as relaxed as you can as you bring them up. Yes. Bring the feet flat to the ground and just let your hands rest behind your body and gently then rocking the knees from one side to the other just to ease out the hips. Oh, I've got creaky hips today. From here, let the knees drop over to one side, roll yourself into an all fours position. So after that fold, just to stretch out your back a little, you can place anything underneath your forehead here for a little bit of support and comfort. You're going to come into a puppy stretch, so walking the arms out in front of you and allow your forehead to come down to the ground. Trying to keep your femurs, your thigh bones in a straight line, dropping from hips to knees. Forehead resting to the floor, so nice passive stretch. Think about the tailbone tipping up towards the ceiling. If you want the support of the forearms to the ground first, then that's totally fine. If you want a little bit more of an intensity stretch around the chest and into the lats, then keep the elbows slightly hovered, but the armpits trying to wrap towards the floor. So you broaden the space between the scapula, your shoulder blades. Those of you that are a little bit more open into this, if you'd rather have the chin to the ground and looking forwards, entirely up to you if that feels okay with your neck. It's quite a strong stretch for the throat, so you decide. Take a last full breath. Pressing through the elbows, bring your palms slowly back under the shoulders and bring yourself back up to all fours. Just give your shoulders a bit of a wriggle out, rounding through a cat stretch perhaps. And then fold back into child's pose so your hips come all the way back to your feet. If it still feels comfortable with the arms to be out in front of you, then keep them out in front. Otherwise, bend at the elbows so your head rests onto the back of your hands. From here, come into an all fours position. Slide either leg forwards, so you're going to come into a pigeon pose. So let's go either leg, it doesn't matter, we'll switch sides one after the other. As much cushioning and padding as you need underneath your front thigh or pelvis. If it feels more comfortable for your hips or your knees to stay a little bit higher, then please make this work for you. Otherwise, you're welcome to take the figure of four stretch on your back. When you're ready to, find that more restorative feeling into it. So in yin, we'd call this your sleeping swan pose. So you're out long and heavy to the floor. If you want any other modifications, please feel free to wave at me at the screen. I'll give you some help. If you know this feels enough in your pelvis and your hip, then stay as you are. You're welcome to tick any options you wish or do not wish to do. If you wish to progress a little bit deeper, then take your torso and your arms over towards the foot side of your mat, so that that underneath heel is underneath the abdomen. So you're turning away from the bent knee. See if you can really drop the weight of your torso into the heel, so the heel adds a little bit more massage effect into the lower organs, the lower intestine. Just take a last couple of breaths where you are. Take your time, bring your torso back up straight and center. Remove any cushioning or padding from underneath that front thigh and sit down onto the front thigh. So from here, you're going to turn, so you might want to watch the camera first. This is an option. Again, you can switch sides, whichever way feels good. You bend both knees, so you roll through the center, and then take your hands over to the other leg and reset yourself on the other side. Just a little swift way of doing it if that works for you, otherwise just shimmy around wherever feels best. Again, as much padding underneath this thigh, glute, side of the pelvis as you need, and then bring yourself into the fold, into that more sleeping swan yin posture. Stay center for a few breaths first. For those of you that want to take the deeper option, just give yourself a couple of breaths in the alignment first. Keeping the pelvis as square to the ground as you can, so it can be supported upwards with cushioning, but try to keep it square to the mat. For those of you that want to build it into that deeper piriformis stretch, then take the arms and your body over towards the foot, away from that fold of the knee. So again, you're aiming for that heel to press into the lower abdomen. Last couple of breaths. Slowly begin to bring yourself center and upright. Again, just remove any cushioning from underneath that thigh. Sit down onto your front leg and turn yourself back through the center. Bring both knees in towards your chest and just hug the arms around the shins. Just give yourself a little rock side to side, loosen off your back. From here, turning either way, so you come onto your back again, so you just spin around and roll yourself down. Keep the knees towards the chest for a moment, just take a gentle rock side to side. So now just invite you to take this last minute just in any other posture that feels more neutralizing for your body. So if you want to take the constructive rest, just to let your back settle after the folds, or maybe a twist, or come straight into your Shavasana if you wish to. If you're still in any other asana, bring yourself now into Shavasana. Hands are maybe out to the side, so you're more in that starfish on the ground, or hands resting to the torso. Whatever your Shavasana feels most comfortable to be. Keeping the eyes closed if that's comfortable. Just lifting the focus point to the center of the forehead. To see if you can soften the muscles and the skin around the forehead. Soften the cheeks, the jaw, the neck. The shoulders, your arms and hands soften. It's allowing the torso to feel soft so that the breath just moves nice and freely through the space of it. And maybe just acknowledging any sensations, any gurgling of the organs. Allow your hips and pelvis to drop into the ground. The glutes, the thighs, the lower legs to feel floppy. And your feet to feel really soft and light. Invite you to indulge in this stillness and quiet of your body just for another minute. Become aware of your breath again. Allow it to move a bit more fully through the torso again. It's bringing gentle movements to the body. And then bending the knees so that your feet find the ground. Just let your spine reset to the floor. And again, roll yourself over to one side and just take a moment there on your side. Let the arms come over with you. Use your hands to help you press to any comfortable seated posture. Hands just resting into the lap or the knees or the heart center. And like we did at the very start of the practice in your pranayama, keep this strength and height running through the spine, but just soften the body around it. Just invite you to bring to mind one thing that you can feel grateful for today. Acknowledge one positive thing about yourself. And recognize how getting to your yoga mat has served you in some way today. Closing that gratitude, self-compassion and achievement into your heart center as the palms close together at the heart space. Take a really deep breath in. As you exhale, bow your head to your hands. Thank you so much for joining me for Yin this evening. Namaste. Thank you so much. I hope the rest of your evening is as calm as you are now. Take care, guys. See you soon.